Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a comment, and please think about subscribing. And hey, remember, watching just 30 seconds of an ad helps us creators more than you know. You're awesome. Have an amazing day. Let's begin.
My brother lost his job and moved in with our parents. Now his wife is trying to seduce me, and I'm being called heartless for wanting to leave. I 32 male live with my parents, not because I have to, but because it's smart financially. I make a great salary in computer forensics. I drive a brand new Mustang GT with custom trim, take spontaneous weekend trips, and can afford any whim that crosses my mind. But I'm saving for a house, and if I want to put down a massive down payment and avoid a 30-year debt sentence, living relatively rent-free with the folks is the best move. I give them about $800 a month for groceries and my share of utilities. At least it was, until my brother Tyler 34 male lost his job and moved back in with his wife. It was a Friday night. I'd just gotten back from the gym. I was shaking up a protein drink in the kitchen, still in my sweat-soaked tank and joggers. My mum stood by the stove humming, the smell of marinara heavy in the air. Everything was normal. Mum turned to me with that familiar wide grin she wore when she was about to drop a bomb. "Guess who's moving back in with us?" I raised an eyebrow. "Please don't say Tyler." She laughed like I had told a joke. "Just for a while. Until he finds a new job. You know how hard it's been on him." I closed my eyes, barely containing an aggravated sigh. "And Cassie too, I assume?" I ask. "Of course. She's his wife. They will be here next week." I didn't respond. Just took a long drink of my shake and nodded. In my gut, I already knew how this would go. Tyler would skate by without paying a dime, and I'd be stuck covering the rising utility bills. Again. But it wasn't my house. I couldn't tell her not to let them move in. My only choice at the moment was to suck it up. My brother and I got along okay. It was Cassie who I was dreading. Cassie had always been high maintenance. The kind of woman who didn't get out of bed unless her lashes were curled and her nails freshly done. She came from money and never let us forget it. Even unemployed, she kept up the spa days, gel manicures, hair appointments, and waist-cinching yoga outfits. She was a headache to be around. The day they moved in, I had come outside to help with boxes. Cassie arrived like a celebrity. She stepped out of the car. She was wearing oversized sunglasses, a full face of makeup at AM, and her hair was so shiny it could have been CGI. Cassie came right up to me, giving me air kisses on my cheeks. "You look good. Have you been working out?" I kept my face neutral, resisting the urge to step back. "Same routine," I replied. Cassie gave me a long once-over and purred. It's working." Tyler, oblivious as ever, dragged boxes behind her, grunting and muttering about how hot it was. I noticed he didn't thank anyone for helping them move in. It wasn't long after their move-in when things started to get weird. At first, it was subtle. Cassie would linger in the kitchen when I came down in the morning, wearing a robe that barely covered her thighs, sipping almond milk from a wine glass. She smiled at me leaning on the counter. "Coffee's still hot if you want some. I made it just how you like it." I grabbed a protein bar. "Thanks. I'm good." Cassie gave me a little frown. "You always so serious in the mornings?" I didn't answer and walked out the side door. I made a mental note to start leaving earlier for work to avoid these conversations. Cassie has always been flirtatious. It was part of her personality, but since they moved in, she ramped it up by 100. She started complimenting everything about me, my basic outfits, my sandwiches, my physique. The only thing she didn't compliment was my girlfriend. She started to insult her every chance she got. When my girlfriend wasn't around, of course. One afternoon, we were sitting on the couch, and out of nowhere where she says, "She's sweet, I guess." "Kind of." "Plain?" No offense, but you could do better. I stared at her without blinking. I'm not interested, Cassie. She shrugged, smirking. You'll change your mind. Then there was the shower stunt. I had walked out of the bathroom one evening, fresh from a shower, towel wrapped around my waist. Steam trailed behind me as I stepped into the hallway, only to nearly collide with Cassie, dressed in nothing but a tight little tank top and shorts so short they should have been illegal. She looked surprised. Deliberately. Oh, I didn't realize you were in there. Her eyes dragged slowly down my torso. I tightened the towel with one hand and clenched my jaw. You need something? I asked. Cassie poked out her chest and started twirling a strand of hair. Actually, do you know where the HDMI cable is? I want to hook up Tyler's old Xbox. I moved past her. No, I don't. Ask your husband. She tried to follow me, but I shut my door in her face before she could say anything else. My heart was pounding, not from temptation, but rage. She knew exactly what she was doing. I could no longer find peace anywhere. Family dinners had become a complete circus. Cassie would show up in cleavage-bearing tops, giggling and batting her lashes like some Stepford wife. She'd sit across from me, brush her foot against my leg under the table, then look up with innocent doe eyes. I moved my chair back so hard it scraped against the hardwood. My dad would look up from his plate, confused. Everything okay, son? I'd force a smile. Just stretching, Dad. Cassie would just smirk. Like she was daring me to say something. The more I ignored her, the bolder she acted. One Friday night I came back from a date with my girlfriend. I was feeling good. We'd have a great night of fine dining, hand-holding, and laughter. I was in an awesome mood. I hummed under my breath as I walked in through the side door and kicked off my shoes. When I opened my bedroom door, I froze. Cassie was there, lying on my bed, in just a lace bra and panties. Cassie, what the hell? I whispered harshly. She stretched lazily like she'd just woken up from a nap. I heard a noise. I was scared. I always sleep like this. Get out. Now. I hiss through gritted teeth. Cassie rolls her eyes and pouts. You're overreacting. It's not like you haven't looked. I clenched my fists, voice low and trembling with fury. I'm not Tyler. I don't play games like this. Out. Now. She finally got up, slowly gathering her clothes with theatrical sighs. As she left the room, she paused in the doorway. You're going to regret this? I locked the door behind her and didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, my parents called me into the kitchen. They sat at the table looking concerned, like they were about to tell me someone had died. Mum started first. We need to talk about the bills. Things are getting tight, and we're going to need you to contribute a little more. I stared at her with thinly veiled annoyance. You mean again? I asked sarcastically. My dad cleared his throat. Your brother's trying. He's been under a lot of pressure. I cut him off. So have I. But I'm not the one living rent-free and contributing nothing. You're not being very compassionate. My mother snapped. You're in a better position financially. All we're asking is double what you already give us. I looked at her as if she was speaking another language. Double? You're kidding, I might as well get my own place. They gave each other a nervous look. We didn't say you had to leave. You know we depend on your money to get by. Don't be selfish. It's only been 6 months. Your brother will find something eventually. In the meantime, we need you to stop being vindictive. Vindictive? I repeated, my voice raising almost hysterically. What the hell are you talking about? My mother looked at me confused as if the answer was obvious. You've always had this weird jealousy for your brother. And don't get us started on the way you look at Cassie. It's kinda pathetic. It's time for you to grow up, son. Yep, they have lost it. And that's when I realized this wasn't going to get better. I was being used again. This isn't the first time. It all started the first time Tyler moved back home at 25. He had been laid off. It wasn't his fault. During that time, I took care of all his expenses: cell phone, car note, increase in utilities, clothes, you name it. While Tyler would just lazz around playing Xbox and renting pay-per-view events. I wasn't nearly as financially stable as I am now, so I was struggling pretty bad. We all were. It took him 2 years to finally find work again or leave. 3 years later, he was back. This time he got canned for getting into a fight with his director. I don't know the specifics, but it had something to do with sexting the director's wife. The same old things happened. Every time I would try to talk to my parents about it, they would brush me off with some family helps family BS. Luckily, this time around, he was only back for a year. His motivation for finally getting a job this time: he met Cassie. There was no way a girl like her would stick with a bum, and he knew it. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Well, you get the idea. Bottom line is I was an pushover back then, but I'm not one now. Truth be told, I could afford to give more, but I didn't want to. Tyler's a grown man with a family, if you count Cassie. He should feel obligated to contribute something, but he never does, because my family refuses to push him. I work hard for my money and don't want to spend my extra on my older brother. I decided that night. I was making my escape. I packed my bags while everyone was out, just the essentials. A few changes of clothes, my laptop, my exercise gear. I left behind all the extras I didn't care about. I moved into my girlfriend's apartment that night. She met me at the door in pajamas, hair tied up, and held me like she hadn't seen me in weeks. We ate takeout on the couch and fell asleep watching a movie. No drama. No games. Just peace. The next morning, I sent my mum a text. I'm not coming back, I've moved out. I need space. Please don't contact me unless it's an emergency. For the most part, they respected my request. Tyler texted once. It said, "Real mature bro. Way to abandon family." Cassie sent me a heart emoji. I blocked them both. I don't know what's going on in that house now, and honestly, I don't care. Sometimes living with family can be a toxic environment. I got out. I hope others reading this realize it's okay to choose peace over loyalty. Remember this: if you stop enabling people, they have no choice but to shape up or lose it all. Either way, whatever happens is not your fault. It's theirs. Final update. Hey Reddit. It's been a while since I posted. Last time, I told you all about my brother Tyler moving in with our parents after losing his job, bringing along his gold-digging wife Cassie, who then made it her personal mission to seduce me, insult my girlfriend, and parade around the house like it was Real Housewives, Suburban Edition. My parents ignored it all and even tried to raise my rent to support their freeloading son. A lot of you asked me what was the deal with Cassie. My theory is she was just trying to secure a bag. My brother was now useless in her eyes and I had everything she wanted. Or I could be wrong and maybe she just thrived on drama. Who knows? Anyway, a lot has changed since then. It's been almost a year since I moved out. That same weekend I left, my girlfriend and I signed a short-term lease on her apartment while we looked for a place of our own. Turns out living together was effortless. No drama, no passive-aggressive kitchen encounters, no threats in lace lingerie at AM. Just two people working hard, supporting each other, and laughing more than we ever had. 3 months ago, we closed on our first house. A modern 3-bedroom with a big kitchen, an actual home office for me, and a backyard she's already filled with plants. I surprised her with a golden retriever puppy, and now I'm 3rd place in the household ranking, but I don't mind. Even better? I proposed. I'd been sitting on the ring for months. I waited until the housewarming party when all our close friends were there. She was mid-toast, thanking everyone for helping us move, when I got down on one knee. She dropped her glass. She laughed through tears and asked, "Are you serious right now?" I responded without hesitation. "More serious than I've ever been." She said yes. Everyone cried. Meanwhile, over in the house I left behind, Tyler is still living with our parents. Except now, Cassie's gone. Apparently, not long after I moved out, she started confiding in one of Tyler's old best friends. Someone he hadn't seen much since high school. That friend has a decent job in construction and his own apartment. Cassie packed her things in the middle of the night. Left a note. Ghosted Tyler completely. 3 months later? Boom. Pregnancy announcement. All over Facebook. Cassie and her new man in a staged maternity shoot, her belly out and everything. Tyler was devastated. But of course, instead of doing some soul-searching, he spent months sulking in his childhood bedroom, drinking energy drinks and blaming everyone but himself. Then it got worse. My dad's hours at work were cut again. My mum's health hasn't been great, and the bills started piling up. I think they were hoping I'd come crawling back to help. I didn't. Eventually, Tyler was told, either get a job or the house goes into foreclosure. So he finally caved. But the job market sucks and he doesn't have the pull he used to. He ended up working at a local call center, troubleshooting cable remotes over the phone for $12 an hour. A far cry from the 6-figure project management job he bragged about back in the day. He's miserable. Bitter. Still too proud to admit he messed up. And he hates that I came out ahead. As for me, I'm building a life I actually love. The wedding is set for next summer. We're doing something simple, elegant, surrounded by people who love us. My parents are invited. Whether they show up is their choice. My fiancé and I are already talking about starting a family of our own. And I've never felt more secure. In my job, my relationship, or my peace of mind. Tyler still hasn't congratulated me. Cassie unblocked me long enough to send a thumbs up to the engagement post, then disappeared again. Probably hoping I'd take the bait. I didn't. Final thoughts. When I first posted, I felt trapped, gaslit, undervalued. Stuck in a house full of people who took advantage of my kindness and expected silence in return. Leaving felt selfish at the time, I'm not going to lie, but it was the best decision I've ever made. Not every family is healthy. Sometimes you have to walk away to grow. And trust me, choosing peace? Worth it every damn time. Thanks for listening, Reddit.